Miss Miller found me a pen. It was just taped together, but it was working. All right, so we're learning about Mexico today. Today we're going to be, our essential question today is going to be, how do physical systems in Mexico support large communities? All right, so first question for you guys is, when we talk about physical systems, physical features, give me an example.
Water.
Water, that would be one, right?
Mountains.
What else? Mountains.
Oceans.
Oceans. So things that are just natural, right? Not man-made, okay? Now, what do people need to support large communities that we've talked about all year?
Water.
Water, what else? Food.
Wine. Oh, wait, that's not water.
What else? I heard water, food, that's the main two, right? So, what we're going to be looking at to answer this question, oxygen clearly, right? What we're going to be looking at to answer this question is, what specific physical features in Mexico help provide food, help provide water? As you're going to see, water is going to be the big one for Mexico. They have a tough time with that, okay? And then your objective today is when you write your summary, as we've been doing, to get a 4 through a 0. You want that 4, our objective is to find 2 details and explain, answering this question, explain how 2 of these physical features support people, all right, how they support a community, okay? So our first physical feature we're going to look at, they mentioned in that video we just watched, is the Ring of Fire. You're familiar with that Johnny Cash song? Nobody?
I am.
Yeah. What was I about to say? Only one person from other classes remembered that song, knew that song. So, Ring of Fire. So we're going to be dealing with this sucker for pretty much all the way through South America, okay? So this goes along the Pacific coast of Mexico. And what it is where these 2 tectonic plates meet and cause all types of seismic activity. So when you think of Ring of Fire, what I want you to think of, volcanoes and earthquakes. Volcanoes and earthquakes, okay? So Mexico, and when we look down at Central America, they even get worse. And when we look at South America, when we look at the country Chile, they actually have they're just, earthquakes are a part of their day. So when did we have that earthquake? Last week? Or the week before? Last week? Yeah, for people that live along this, they have to really practice that every week. Like, they know how to deal with an earthquake because it's so frequent, okay? For us, it doesn't affect us, okay? All right, so on your map, okay, on your map here, see Mexico, so you got to hold it portrait style. This line right here, got a mark for you. Yeah, that's going to be the Ring of Fire for you, okay? So I just want you to mark that on your map, Ring of Fire, okay? Right here.
Where at?
That line along the coast, okay? No color, you just need to mark Ring of Fire.
It's
Okay.
So the one that's furthest out, right here on the long one?
Yeah, that long line along the coast, the west coast though. Yeah, like that. Great. Yeah, just Ring of Fire. Okay? Remember, when you think Ring of Fire, think volcanoes, earthquakes. Okay? Now, clearly, doesn't help support life when we're talking about earthquakes and volcanoes, right? It's more dangerous. Yeah, that's where that's. But you'd be surprised. When we look at Mexico and we look more in Central America, a lot of communities built their cities near volcanoes. And the reason for that is volcanic ash can produce very fertile soil. Okay? So fertile soil means they can do what? Yeah, grow crops. Alright? We can grow their avocados. Yeah. You have it here? You have it yesterday? Let me check 4 o'clock. So, volcanic ash. Alright, so that would be one way, that would be a physical feature that helps support a community, right? Being able to grow crops, fertile soil, okay? And you're going to continue to see this. This is going to be consistent as we look through Latin America. but it comes with a risk. You live near a volcano. Alright, am I good to move on, guys? Alright, so as you see here, Ring of Fire is pretty big. It even goes all the way through the Pacific to Japan and Australia. Okay? So this is a pretty big physical feature. But
Why is that map backwards?
because it's the only way they can show Japan and the whole Pacific basically. We usually look at it as the Atlantic in the middle. Ring of Fire doesn't go there. Alright, so this is actually one of the vocabulary words that you're going to have to know when you have to take your vocabulary quiz later. Seismic activity. Seismic activity is just related to an earthquake. Okay? The other thing it does is it opens up the land and creates volcanoes. So all through this Ring of Fire area, all through that pretty much Pacific coast of South America and Mexico, volcanoes. Lots of them. So this will be a vocabulary word you are expected to know. And I'll get that whole list out to you next week.
I'll put it with
Now we do have a, up in Charleston, you've seen the little like circle spike things that are on buildings over there. Those are built for earthquakes. We are actually on a fault line that can cause, supposed to cause a significant earthquake at some point. I don't think we would be hit too badly by it, but specifically Charleston, they have to be prepared for that. Alright, and if you want, and while people are still copying, if you look down in the question section, that's just the next slide is going to be that question on there, which is basically how is living near the Ring of Fire, how is living near seismic activity going to affect your life? Yeah, got to be more prepared. So if we were to compare where we live, specifically you go further coast, what natural disasters do we have to be more prepared for? Yeah, hurricanes, right? You go to, so it just depends on where you live. These things really affect us. Where we live, we got to be more prepared for tornadoes. We're not quite in that tornado alley area, but we do get a significant amount. My grandparents, they lived in Alabama. They always had a bunker for tornadoes. So these things really affect how you prepare for them. These drills that we run. All right, am I good to move on? That's that question we just answered. All right, so this is a big one right here, Mexican Plateau. Okay, Mexican Plateau is going to be on your map, this little middle area, right here. In my impressive art skills right there, whatever you forget. So, remember anyone remember what a plateau is? Yeah, it's just elevated land. It's just elevated land. So this plateau it's elevated and it's surrounded by these mountains called the Sierra Madre Mountains. So if you remember the Rocky Mountains when we studied the United States and Canada, the Sierra Madre Mountains are just a continuation of those Rocky Mountains. That's how big that mountain range is, okay? So the Sierra Madre Mountains surrounds the plateau. It has pretty good temperatures. It's a real attractive place to live. This is where a significant amount of the population is. This is where the capital, Mexico City, is. We'll look more extensively at Mexico City. It's one of the biggest cities on the planet. It has something like 20 million people in it. But we break it down in kind of two parts. You have the northern plateau, okay, Mesa del Norte, Norte is north of Spain, and Mesa Central, Central Plateau. This is where the significant amount of people are going to live in Mexico. So in that little middle area, just right in that middle, I just want you to put the Mexican plateau, okay? This is a significant one for you guys to know. This whole area. Plateau. All right, so the Central Plateau. That's the big one. All right, Northern Plateau has some cities in it, but the climate there is still pretty dry, and it doesn't have very good soil to grow crops. But in the Central Plateau, all right towards the center of Mexico, that's considered the breadbasket of Mexico. So when they say breadbasket, what do you think that means? Yeah, just food in general. Yeah, just food in general.
There's no Northern Plateau down here,
Yeah, don't worry about the Northern Plateau part. Central Plateau. Yeah, so, yes. There's different what? Yeah, what about the first one?
Yeah, did I have different ones or different clubs that we just won?
There's three, to my knowledge, there's 3 cartel fences.
They're big.
Yeah, they're very big. They have a real power. We'll talk more about that stuff when we talk about Mexican culture. We talk more about the human jargon, but yeah, they do have a significant amount of power.
I know the years like this, they're over there,
Yeah, there's the one family that was like essentially the equivalent of like Navy SEALs in Mexico. They hired a bunch of those guys. Can you go back? Yeah. My bad, Katie. Yeah.
And he was like, more than likely, so he's going to then they, or she doesn't have from where he goes there, if he's not, that's very important. Then automatically, then you like, do they in the bag, and he don't have their money or be able to return to the rest.
Oh, really? We're going to talk a lot about that when we get specifically more into central Mexico where the gang violence is really bad down
But
there.
it's like where it's at, like,
Yeah. Gangs like MS-13, stuff like that. We're gonna look at that. Alright, so, Southern Highlands. Okay? This one you don't have to mark on your map, but this is just another area. Plenty of places for them to raise cattle, for grazing, plenty of farmland throughout that region. You're gonna kind of color this area here in a minute when we get there. But again, if we're looking at, we're answering our question here, what physical features support a community? This is a good one. Southern Highlands, that Central Plateau is a good one. Okay? Because we're producing food. We're about to hit water here in a second. Yes, kids. So, Mexico doesn't have a food problem as we're seeing. They have plenty of places to grow food. If you look up in the northern part of Mexico, it's pretty dry and arid. We'll look at that here in a minute. But they do have good areas for food production. What they don't have a lot of here, we're going to look at is water. There's a couple of reasons that that's the case. Well, that'd be part of it, yeah. Good, Carson? Good? Okay. Alright, so Mexican Plateau, you already marked it on your map. What you see here on this map is the physical map. You see how the land is elevated? These are all mountains right here, all throughout here. Alright, so what are the advantages of living on the Mexican Plateau or the Southern Highlands? What's the big advantage they have there?
They got farmland and.
Farmland? And what? Huh?
I said farmland.
Farmland, yeah. Farmland and agriculture, right? Raising cattle. Ample means plenty. More than you need.
So it's great.
Grazing is for like cattle. Yeah.
But anytime,
They do, yeah, they do mainly cows. When we look at South America, they'll do more like sheep. Even have like
they do a lot of people that.
They do a lot of chicken as well.
But they use more things.
Oh, really?
You know, chicken rice.
Come on.
Here, mom, go make the chicken. It's like really great. He's got steak and then regular white Mexican one instead of chicken.
Okay. I'm not too. Alright, so waterways. Alright. So northern Mexico, so close to that American border. Okay? Very, very dry. Alright, not a lot of rainfall, not a lot of river systems or lakes up there. The only river that you'll see, you saw it in the video, was that Rio Grande that goes along the American border. So when they talk about immigrants crossing from Mexico to America, it is a very dangerous journey because it is so hot and dry. There's not a lot of places for you to cool off. There's not a lot of water systems for you to travel through, as we've looked at with rivers. So it is a dangerous crossing for people. Oftentimes people die making that journey. The other problem you have here is, as you can see, on that plateau, and because of the mountains, that land is elevated. So if you just think about it, water flows down, right? That's how gravity works. So it's hard because of the climate, because it's so dry, because of the water flowing down from the mountains, you don't get very long lasting, you don't get any sustainable type of water sources. So that's why, you remember you wrote that paper on rivers? We could really change that up to talk about not just rivers, but river valleys, all right? Most of those places are in between mountains, so a valley is in between mountains, so most of those rivers are where the water would flow down, where the snow melts and the water flows down. Mexico's built on elevated land, so water isn't able to really last up there. But the reason why the climate is cooler on the plateau, yeah, right? What happens to the temperature as you go up in elevation? It gets colder. So that's why the climate's a little easier up there.
Is that why like if you're on the land, but it's so hot and when you get up like
Yeah, I think it depends on how the fair school is.
The market called.
Why is it only 19? Well, they live near the ocean, they have all that good time. Plus, it's always rainy over there. But they lack a lot of these water systems. Actually, we'll look at Mexico City. We'll look at the indigenous people of Mexico called the Aztecs. They built this amazing city on a lake. Okay, this lake Texcoco. Okay, well, on that lake, they actually like kind of built into it, and they had basically built. They actually built kind of like floating islands on these lakes. It's really cool. Mexico City built over that lake, and so they've used that as a source of water, and so they've used all that up, and literally Mexico City is sinking. Okay, so we'll look. Huh? We're doing projects. Not specifically this. Yeah, you are. You'll have a paper. We'll do the paper next week. We're gonna do a whole writing day next week. Where you'll have to. We'll take a look at one of your peers from another class. And say, pick it apart. It'll be a good essay.
So like when we read like basically like our
it's gonna do more. Our next lesson is gonna be done with people. It's gonna be a human. All right, so water systems. You can see when we looked at the United States, river systems throughout the whole country, throughout Mexico, most river systems are going to be down here on that plateau, here in this area. A few down here, not much up here. This is mainly desert, and you'll see that when you finish your map here in a little bit. All right, so what causes them to have such few systems of water? All right, first things first, you have mountains, right? Elevation does not help. Why do they dry out, Jesse? Yeah, because the climate's so hot and dry, okay? So they struggle with water over there. It's a big issue. Huh? Where? Mexico? Yeah, and especially towards that northern part, where it's just dry and air and let's get close to the equator too. All right, last thing on the climate here. Last thing on the climate. All right, so northern Mexico has mild, rainy winters, hot, dry summers. Okay, so this is what we've been talking about with North Mexico. It's just very, very hot. Okay, the soil's very thin. It doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it. You can't farm it very well. So most people don't live out there. You have some, yeah. Yeah, focus in on southern Mexico right here. Southern Mexico has a variety of biomes. And biomes, remember, is just different habitats, right? You saw in the video where it has tons of different species of animals, okay? They have even rainforests over there. Pretty much classified as tropical rainforest. When you get down to the southern Mexico, all right? But they get plenty of rainfall. So that's going to be a consistent source of water for them is the rainfall. All right? So again, that's why most people live towards the central and southern Mexico. All right? You'll even see, when we look a little bit more into central Mexico and Mexico, the Mayan people, who were another indigenous group, they relied on the rainfall. They didn't have any river systems really near their kingdom. And so they relied on rainfall to fill up these things called cenotes, which are these underground wells, basically. And it's just clear water, clean water. And they would actually rely on that for their water sources. Yeah.
Can I have big spots? Where are they at?
The cenote? Yeah. They're cool. They're scary looking.
They are. I jumped off this big cliff thing, it was like 20 foot into the water, and I looked down, and it's like crystal clear.
It's very clear. Very clean. They actually, and it was really interesting about the Mayans, they actually thought that was, because it was so dark, that's where they thought like the underworld was. So they would like
They
set
made
like,
us take showers before we got in there. They made us take a shower like before we got in, so we had to like wash our hair.
oh really? They're very protective of the environment, especially with forests. Remember, if you write down specifically the southern Mexico part. When you think southern Mexico, the big thing there is rainfall. Okay? That's going to be a primary source for them. Alright, so if you pull your computers out, okay, go to Canvas. I'll link you to another map. That map's going to have everything you need to finish color. Huh? Go on Canvas, it'll have it. It'll have what you need on it. Okay? You know you're finished? Good. Get your chargers. I'll just use this. Huh? It is called Mexico Map, I think. It should be the only thing I need to create. Yes. Give me 1 second. I don't think make it public on there for some reason.
Can I go look at my face?
Once you finish the summary, you can, okay? Alright, it should be on there now.
What's it called?
It should be Mexico map. It should be the only thing on Unit 3 in Canvas. It should be the only file.
Are you checking these summaries?
You're gonna turn them in. Yeah.
Oh, they're due today. It's due today. I knew you was good now. What's going on? I just don't remember still. Freaking pens. Oh, shoot.
Well, Miss Wright,
Yeah, it'll be on page. It'll be a little article, and just go to page 2.
I'll be back.
Yeah, page 2. That's all you need. That's the one you need to look at. Page 2. Okay. Yep. Red. That's the designated area.
How was it going?
Yeah.
Mr. Higgins off.
Well, if you don't finish this on Monday, we'll finish it Monday. Yes.
So
that's
this
even
together,
one
right?
has.
This one right here.
Coach D, yeah, all the way through here.
And then this
That's
is.
green. Okay. And so basically, hot, that's your grassland. It's gonna be your just right. Just that little section right there. This page. Oh, yeah. What? See how That's right. What do I need to copy for?
When you do the green, it's just.
Oh, it's easy on the map. Whatever I need. Just basically desert. This is gonna be your farmland.
What?
No, this is simple. Okay, go work. Good. Don't have to show Guys, for your summary, I'll check it Monday. We're not gonna have time. Y'all got like 3 minutes left. I'm good.